Hello, so this video is for some tricks and tools and tips for math. So the first thing I have is manipulatives. We use manipulatives for almost everything in math. For counting, for adding, subtracting, comparing, anything that you need to use numbers with almost, we use manipulatives for. So one of our favorite manipulatives is dot cubes. We use dot cubes all the time in school. So they look like this. Let me see if I can focus that a little bit better for you. So they're just cubes. They have dots on all the sides except for one. It has like a peg and they kind of just snap together. But this is how we use them. So for adding, we'll make two towers and then we'll physically move them and put them together, or you can snap them together and then the students will count and see how many there are. Subtraction will do just the opposite. We'll start with the whole amount and then we'll break one part off and then we'll figure out the other part. Comparing, we can make towers with them and see which ones have like a partner, we can say, and how many extra there are, and so we can kind of look at it that way too. Dot cubes are not necessarily something you may have at home though. Something else we really love to use in school, but I don't think I have any here at home, ironically, are the little erasers that you can find at the Target dollar spot. I have quite a few of them, lots of different animals and themes, and so we'll switch them out. The kids really like those. Those are a lot of fun. But again, something you might not have regularly at home, and you don't need to go buy specific things to help your student in math. So with things that you may have more readily available around the house, I know a lot of the students have Legos, so you can definitely use Legos. Very similar idea to these dot cubes here. I'm borrowing the ones that we have for my niece and nephew here at home, but similar ideas. It's important that the students can actually move them, put them together, take them apart. Physically moving and touching the objects and manipulating them really helps them learn the concept and grasp the idea of math that they're working with. So Legos are a great option. You can put them together, take them apart, compare. Maybe you have a lot of sewing materials at home, or you have some buttons. Buttons are a great option too. I don't know if you can see everything. There we go. Buttons are a great option. Same thing. You can line them all up. You can make groups. You can add them. You can put them together. You can take them apart. So buttons are something that are pretty easy to find. But don't take them off your clothes. Only if you have extra ones. Coins. I have a bunch of pennies here at home that happen to be in my wallet, and a dime. So you can use coins if you have a lot of spare coins at home. The students can line them up and count them and move them around. Let's see, what else do I have here for ideas for manipulatives? I have this box of magnets. These are actually, there's supposed to be another part to it, but those I think are at school. These come with the little magnetics, I think they're called. They're like little sticks with magnets on each end, and they come with these little aluminum spheres. So you can use something like this, lay them out. These might be a little tricky because they'll roll around, but you can put a napkin underneath it or something. So even something like that you can use to count. Maybe your child has a lot of cars at home. Markers are great, you can line up. A lot of math problems that we use from our curriculum program actually include markers or crayons as the objects a lot of the time. So that's great to use. Like I was just saying, crayons are a great object you can use. Lots of the kids have those. The next tool, I need to get my notebook for. This last tool I have is called a number path. Or you can make it into a number line. So what a number path is it has the numbers that you're working with. Right now in first grade, our range is up to 20. But some students may be working higher or lower, so it depends on what grade your child is and what skills they're working on. So this is what a number path would look like. It's a box and it has smaller boxes and each number is in its own box. This one I wrote up to 12 because that's what I had room for, but you can make it as big as you need or as small as you need as well. So how we use a number path in math is the students start at a number, say 8, and if we're adding 2, they make 2 hops, 1, 2, and they stop at 10. However, this drawing it like this and actually writing it out is great practice, but for the ease at home, you would have to make a lot of number paths. So, to not have to make numerous number paths, you can have the students use some of those manipulatives that we had just been talking about. So, for example, at school, I have a card that's laminated, and I have a bead that will travel the length of the number path. So if they were starting at 8 again, they would put the bead there, and then if they were adding 2, they would hop up 2. So they would slide the bead up 2 numbers. So you can do something similar at home. You can use a button or a coin or anything and have them start at that number, and then they can move it. You can have one button to show the starting number and then another button to actually move. That's another option. Or the third option is covering up each number with an actual object. That's also a great method too. You can also draw a number line if your students are working with number lines. That is more of this idea of course I pick a color wonder marker. Here we go. So the numbers will have a place more like on a continuous arrow like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be more of an example of a number line, which the students can also use. Or I know for first grade we have definitely used number paths before, so this is something that they're familiar with. But just something to help them remember is that when we're adding, we're moving up, and when we're subtracting, we're counting down. So that is one thing that I always have available. I have like arrows in school where I actually cut out an arrow and wrote count up and had an addition sign, and count down, and I had a subtraction sign. So this is something I would just put right above your number path like this to help the students remember which way to go, because sometimes they can get confused. But these are some of the examples that we use every day in math. We use these tools and tips on a regular basis. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And if you need some other ideas, just let me know.